Welcome back, everybody, to the Shadburn Show. It's Laura and Drew and
Baby Cadence.
Baby Cadence. She's content right now, so we'll see how long we can talk with her sitting here.
Hopefully we didn't just jinx ourselves.
Yeah. So last podcast we talked about this really horrifying incident that happened the second day of her life, and so we're back to finally share that.
Yeah. But then we're also, just kind of updating everyone in our lives on becoming parents and stuff. And we've been gone for, she's sucking her thumb. We've been gone for, a couple months now, at least, and just haven't gotten back around to, putting out an episode. And so we figured we would just update everybody on how life is and, talk about now what it's like being parents.
Yeah.
But I may have to pass baby girl off here real quick.
Okay, you go first. You talk about what it's like being a dad, and I will try my best to entertain the little baby.
So, being a parent's insane. For one, I feel like I thought that when I become a parent and when I become a husband, I was just going to somehow grow into somebody who kind of had all the answers or knew what to do in every situation. And truth be told, I just feel like a giant child raising another child. So being a dad is crazy. I've talked to my other friends. Most of my guy friends are all girl dads, and we all, sympathize with each other and also like encourage each other a lot. But it's been freaking amazing this entire time. She is at the point now, we're a little over 3 months with her, and she is kind of growing into herself on like her personality and who she is. And like watching her get excited and smile and laugh and like reach for things is just one of the most entertaining things in the world. And, I was never impressed when I saw other babies do that, but with my baby, I feel like she's a genius whenever she grabs something. But you can probably hear on the other microphone.
Oh yeah, they can definitely hear.
But I guess, that's my take on being a dad right now. Do you want to give your take on being a mom?
Sure, I'll pass her to you.
Pass her on back. Pass the baby. Hi, baby girl. What you doing?
So she just woke up from a nap. We actually tried to record earlier, and right after the intro, she started crying. We're like, dang it. But we did enjoy a nice dinner with some wine. Just the two of us.
A very well prepared dinner.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
So what's it like being a mom? Wow. Oh gosh, I'm speechless.
I will say just real quick, between the two of us, you do pretty much 90% of the work because during the work days I'm gone. So you have had the bigger experience of being a parent compared to me.
Well, I don't know though, because you still do, like, you work and then come home and you're a parent. All I have to do is be a parent.
Well, yeah, but also, complimenting you and everything, your ability and capacity for, being gentle and having such a good touch with caring is like way beyond me. So,
Thank you.
I mean, you've seen me on nights where I've tried to put her to bed and I get way more easily frustrated than you do.
Yeah.
But your capacity to be gentle and tender with her, and you've been doing it all the livelong day, is something that I think it's important to acknowledge.
Thank you.
So
You are a great dad.
yeah.
And I don't think that my role as a parent is like better, but I am just like so in awe still of the magic of having like our firstborn. Like I was telling you the other day, it feels magic. Like I can't find a better word to describe like the feeling and the experience of having your firstborn baby. Like it is magical. I just can't describe the emotion and like just the euphoric joy that I have every day with her. Like I definitely was worried. I think we did talk about like in a previous podcast while I was pregnant, like what our thoughts and anticipations were about having her. And I probably voiced that I was a little nervous and wasn't sure about being a mom because of like my current relationship with my mom. And so I was nervous and I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out to be a mom. Like I didn't have like a picture perfect experience with my mom, but no one does. But like that was just one thing I was worried about. And now that fear has been completely extinguished just because after having her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so meant to be a mom.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, she's my best friend. And I love everything about her. And like, there are still some things that are hard. Like, I mean, loving her is very easy, but yeah, I haven't really gotten frustrated with her yet. Like there are frustrating moments and times, but it's always backed up with like, this is for a reason. Like she's crying for a reason. She's communicating something. So I just pray through it and I'm like, okay, Lord, like what could she be communicating? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? I don't really meet it with like, God, why won't she stop crying? Like I'm more like, oh my gosh, like what can I do to help her?
Yeah.
Because it's for a reason. And she's actually pretty predictable. I know some babies are like, oh my goodness, I've tried everything and I don't know. But
yeah,
we can try a few things before something like lands and she's okay.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, she just looks so cute right now. But being a mom is one of the like greatest joys of my life.
I'm going to put her in the swing real quick while you're talking.
Okay, I just yawned, sorry. But anyways, I mean, that's actually all I was going to say. I have the most fun with her every day. And even though it's just me and the baby, we like feed off of each other's joy. Like she wakes up so happy in the morning and it makes the multiple times I woke up during the night like kind of fade away. Waking up in the morning is still really hard, but once I get going, it's fine. And I realized like I got enough sleep or else I'd probably be like way more deprived. I knew that was going to happen. You needed to keep her with you.
I made an attempt to put her in the swing just now to see if she'd be entertained by that.
She wants to be with us.
Do I need to go get her?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go get her.
So anyways, I don't really have like too much to say about that right now because I know you guys really probably want to hear what happened the second day she was alive. So I'll start it off and then Drew will go by his perspective because there was actually a long part that I wasn't there for because I was still kind of bedridden. So basically, it was literally the next day. So the next morning, this happened. So we'd only had one night with her after she was born. She was born at 7:47 p.m. on a Thursday. So this was Friday morning. A little foreshadow. So right when she came out and they laid her on my chest. Goodness, I'm sorry. I keep yawning. Right when she came out and they laid her on my chest, they were wiping her off and the world stopped for Drew and I. Like we weren't listening to anything. We were just staring at her and like admiring her and talking to each other. And the nurses and doctors were still kind of doing their thing, but we were not acknowledging it. So we realized in a video that we watched later, the nurse said, as she was wiping Cadence off and cleaning her up and stuff, said, oh yeah, that's just some amniotic fluid. She'll be coughing that up for the next few days. We didn't, I think actually, did you hear that?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So we both didn't hear it. So the next morning, I'm getting ready to feed her. So she was just in her diaper because newborns are so sleepy and you need to stimulate them and just kind of undress them so they're like, "Ooh, I'm awake." So I was bringing her over to me, and she kind of like cough sneezed at the same time.
Yeah.
But I saw these two, like both of her nostrils were filled up with this like clear fluid. And so it was like she sneezed and her nostrils immediately filled up, which now that makes sense that she couldn't breathe, because I heard that babies don't know how to breathe through their mouth yet. So even if it was just her nose, she probably was like not able to breathe. But anyways, like she like coughed and sneezed, and I was like, "Oh," and I just remained calm. Even though it scared me in the moment, I remained calm, and I was like, "Oh, Drew, get that bulb thing so you can like kind of suction out their nose with this bulb that they give you." And I was like remaining calm, but then she started to turn color and she wasn't breathing, and this was like a few seconds in. So she turned like red, and then she started to turn a little purple, and then the nurse that was in there, thank God she was in there. So a nurse was in there. She was about to walk out right when Cadence did this. So Courtney was her name, literally turned back around, and Cadence was like purple at this point, still not breathing, newborn, fresh baby. And Drew, you had her for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Courtney realized, like, okay, she's turning purple, grabbed her from you and flipped her over really quick and started beating her back, like patting it super hard, and was moving really fast, but like calmly.
Yeah.
And I actually started to cry. Like I started crying because I was like, "Oh my God, why is she not breathing yet?" And you were remaining calm and I was crying. And then you saw me crying and you were like trying to reassure me. You were like, "It's okay. She'll be okay. It'll be okay." And then Courtney said, "Hey, Dad, why don't you pull that cord on the wall?" So in every postpartum room, there's a cord that you can pull. And right when you pull it, nurses rush into your room because it's like the emergency cord. So if anything happens and you need emergency help, they are right there. So Drew, you pulled that in seconds. A ton of other nurses came running in, and Courtney was still hitting her on the back super hard. And I was crying, and you were like, "It's okay." And then all the nurses were like moving. Their hands were like moving really fast. Then they took her out of the room. They ran with Cadence out of the room. I still couldn't really get up because this was the next day after giving birth. So I couldn't just like run down the hallway with you guys. And my phone was actually like across the room. I don't remember where it was. So I was literally stranded to my bed. And then Courtney looks at you and is like, "Hey, Dad, bring that bassinet." And all the nurses ran out with Cadence. And she was running down the hallway, beating her back the whole time. You had the bassinet, and then I was just in the room. And I'll let you take over, babe. And then like later I can explain like what was going through my mind while I was just alone in the room.
Yeah. You mind if I hand her off to you real quick?
Yeah. She looks really content with your pinky.
Working on my pinky. She's teething right now too.
Yeah, which is crazy. She's just 3 months old and she wants everything in her mouth. And
she's getting after
she's got some pain going on.
Yeah. So
she's okay right now.
Let me hand her over to you.
Give me your girly.
She just farted in my lap.
You silly.
So yeah, the nurse Courtney, she said, "Dad, why don't you bring that bassinet and follow us real quick?" And I was trying to keep a calm demeanor. I knew Laura was upset, and I was looking at her. I was like, "They're fine. They know what they're doing. This, like everything's fine. It's cool." But even in the back of my head, I was like, "Good grief! Like, what is going on?" And also, like when she asked me to pull the emergency cord, my heart sank in that moment because I was like, she just declared this an emergency. Mm-hmm. Like, long story short, like what's happening right now is worth the attention of anybody nearby. And so she asked me to grab the bassinet and leave with her out of the room. and I'm watching this nurse just basically take off full clip down the hallway, going to another wing of the building, and she is still smacking the crap out of Cadence's back, trying to get her to literally yell. And
yeah, any noise is good because that means the
it
baby's
makes them
trying
breathe.
to cough.
Yeah, it makes them, it just pushes whatever's going on out. But these nurses are on her, and she is smacking her back, running down this hallway, and I'm pushing the bassinet. And like, I'm praying, but I'm also just like, surely, surely this is fine. Like, surely this is just, they just got to do something. And so we finally get to this nursery where I wasn't allowed in, but I had to stay behind these glass windows, and I handed them the bassinet. And of course, all the while, Laura is still in her room, not near her phone, not in contact with anybody.
We'll get to that
completely
later.
By
That's the
herself,
whole thing.
and just not being connected to anything in the situation. I'm watching these nurses as they go into nursery, put her in the bassinet, and their hands are flying. But even more than that, I saw all of the doctors in the room. They were at like just different areas of the room, and this was a large room, but their heads like started to perk up and they were looking over. And before I knew it, every single person in the nursery had their hands on Cadence. And I'm
like
watching
the doctors.
Yeah,
like
the
they
nurse
all
practitioners and the
normally
doctors.
they're probably really chill, but they like looked up and
Like
noticed
the doctors,
and then they all rushed to her.
They all like cut in and just started moving. I had never seen hands flying so fast. And at this point, she was as purple as a grape. And I'm sitting there looking through this window, gripping the frame, and literally just like asking God, like, don't do this. This is like not this. Like literally anything else but this. Don't let this happen. And they're trying to take like this guitar string looking tube and put it down her nose and down her throat so that they could intubate her. And at some point, I mean, this had been nearly 5 full minutes. She gives out the biggest yell ever. And I hear it through the glass of the window. And then I just see all of the doctors and nurses just kind of like exhale all at once and give like this sigh of relief, and they're all looking at each other like nodding their heads. And then finally one nurse like looks up at me and like gives me like the okay symbol. And I remember locking my knees because my legs, like I didn't like have any strength in my legs, and I was leaning up against the window. My face was against the glass, just like looking at my daughter on the other side. And they're all still working on her, and I see color just immediately start to like return. But the nurse comes out and tells me like, we got it under control, everything's fine. That was scary, but we're going to keep her for 30 minutes and get our oxygen levels back up. We're just going to get all that amniotic fluid out of her, and we'll just be done with it then. And I said, okay, fine. So I took off because I immediately knew like Laura is in the room with no knowledge of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that's when I came back into the room. And right when I walked in the room, I immediately was just like, we're good. Everything's good. And yeah.
You want me to take over?
You can talk about what was going on while you were by yourself.
Well, first I will add that all babies swallow amniotic fluid when they're born. So that's normal. Yeah. That is like what keeps their bodies full of the nutrients that they need for the next few days, because they're not getting milk yet. They're getting colostrum. And colostrum's super good for them. And they don't need much of it because their stomachs are so tiny. But I don't know. That's just the way God created it. Just fill them up before they enter the world. So they're packed full of everything that they need. But it's so thick that sometimes it can be hard for babies to digest it. So it's hard for it to come out the other end. And that's what she had a hard time with, was passing it. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll say. But anyways, so while Drew, this was so crazy and such a God thing. So while Drew and the baby and all the nurses were gone and my room fell completely silent, I'm crying and my heart is beating so hard. And I'm just like praying and I'm like, God, please don't let this happen. Like, please let her live, heal her, praying everything. I was like, God, I just pray that all the whatever she's choking on would just like come loose, and just everything. I was just freaking out. I was like, please, God, I don't even have words. Jesus, 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 just praying. And then, so I told you guys that my cell phone was like somewhere in the room that I couldn't reach. So they actually have a little hospital phone room. Right during this, like while I'm praying, the hospital phone rings and Evan actually called, because I don't even know why she called. I guess she was trying to figure out like what room we were in, and they're like, oh, we can like connect you. She called, and so she was like my saving grace, because I was like, she called for something completely else, but I just immediately started telling her like, this is what's going on, and I was freaking out, and I was like, this is what just happened, oh my gosh, I'm praying. And she immediately was like, it's gonna be okay, like reassuring me, like, and just validating me, like, that's really scary, I'm really sorry, but it's gonna be okay, like all this stuff. And so I actually did get to talk to someone like during that, or else that would have been torture. But anyways, I talked to Evan a little bit and I felt a little better, and I was still praying.
What's wrong, baby girl?
Stand her up a little bit.
Oh.
She's busy. She's
You
got to
want to be on the show? You want to
Yeah.
stand up, be on the show?
It's so funny that we're talking about this near-death experience with her, and now she's like chewing on our fingers and like demanding attention right now.
For everybody that's got like a...
Look, she's looking at the computer.
Everybody that's has like a pounding heart, wondering if she made it. Obviously, if you're watching, she's...
Good ending right here.
She's dancing in the camera right now, so...
So anyways, Drew came back in. Oh my gosh, my heart rate returned to normal when you were like, everything's fine, she's okay. I was like, oh, thank God. And a part of me like knew it was going to be okay, but still, like, there's the other part of you that doesn't know.
Right.
And so you came in, you explained everything, and I was just like figuratively on the edge of my bed, just like, what happened, what's going on, where is she? And you explained everything. You said it was okay. And I was like, oh my God. But I still was like, until she's back in my arms, I'll be okay again. But
like,
you,
I was trying to explain it to you, and I ended up collapsing
everything
to the ground crying.
Yeah, Drew got through explaining everything, and then he broke down. Like, your knees collapsed and you hit the ground, and I've never seen you cry so hard in your life.
Yeah. Like,
I've never seen you really cry. So to see you kind of explode like that, I didn't know what to do. I was like in shock. I was like, whoa, this was really scary for him, because it's like we just had this amazing experience of bringing our first baby into the world, and then we almost lost her.
The
so
best
it was
moment
like,
of my life was like followed by like one of the worst moments of my life.
Yes. Boop. So that was terrifying, but she came back 30 minutes later. She was fine and dandy, but we were like, holy crap, is this what being a parent is?
I was like, I'm terrified.
Yeah, we were like, I said that to someone. I was like, so is this going to be like the rest of parenthood, just being afraid of what happens to your children? And someone was like, huh, yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
We've had so much fun
Smiley
since
girl.
then. And
yeah.
We've been able to relax just a little bit.
But even then, I actually had postpartum anxiety. So there's postpartum depression, which everyone's heard of, but I don't think everyone's heard of postpartum anxiety. And you can have one or the other or both.
Yeah.
Drew just cannot handle this baby and do a podcast at the same time. Apparently.
Well, I can't handle her, period. And that's been one of the beautiful lessons of this journey.
Wait, where was her passy?
I gotta say, like, I know I said it at the beginning of the show, but I am humbled with observing your skill and being able to literally just handle our daughter compared to what I've been able to do. Because obviously I can feed her with a bottle and change her. And
can you change her?
I can, well,
can you?
That's still up for debate.
You want to talk about the poopy diapers she had yesterday?
Some diapers are easy to change, but then when they're just bowls of soup, I don't know what to do.
Okay, did I just sound like a duck? Did I sound like... I promise that was a real laugh, but it came out like...
looked at the both of us like, y'all all right?
Anyways, that, you were just pathetic. You were like, I can't. If I let go of her feet, she'll kick her diaper and her feet will get in it. And I was like, then hold both of her feet.
She kept trying to put her foot down in her diaper that was poop soup. Yeah.
We probably just lost a few followers there.
Yeah. Anyway, but obviously, like 3 months later, we're just staring at this like beautiful creation who smiles back at us all the time now, and
looks at computer
incredible.
Screens and phones. And
we're
like,
she already watches movies.
Oh my gosh,
we're already watching.
She watches Marvel movies like she's been a fan since 1991.
We've been, she
oh look, she found the candle.
When we flip on a movie and stuff, when we have movie night, she'll just sit there right in between us and watch the movie with us. And I'm like a little concerned because I don't want her to get addicted to screens, obviously.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's pretty funny that
it's relaxing too because she can just chill.
She can sit
with
through
us.
a movie and not ask questions, unlike somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's going on.
Well, I bet she does too, but she doesn't have to yap about it.
Okay, that's she probably knows what's going on, and she just can't talk yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, they can't know that I know.
Yeah. But, for all my other dads out there, like I've given little pieces of advice from just the personal experience that I've had. But I got to give a shout out to my buddy John Thompson, who his daughter is a little over 1, and he's just been kind of sharing his experience every step of the way and answering all of my questions, and he's probably given some of the best advice. But he mentioned this thing that we have not come across yet that I'm terrified of, called regression.
I actually have been thinking about that. I think she's going through it because the past couple of nights she hasn't.
So for anybody else that doesn't really know what this is, imagine developing a routine with your child, and then your child just, 4 months into it says whatever and just decides to flip everything on its head. And I think that's what baby girl's doing. She's probably going to start staying up all night and then trying to sleep through the day.
Aw, don't say that. Don't say it. Don't speak that. We're right now, I have this pin, and it's like also a back scratcher, and it like I'm sitting across from Drew and Cadence right now, but I can reach it over and like play with the baby with it. It's kind of entertaining her. But
that's the other cool thing too, is like literally within this last week, she's beginning to actively grab things.
Yeah, grab them and pull them to her mouth.
She has hands, and now she can grab things that are out in front of her. But that was another thing also that my cousin even told me about. She said, treasure every single moment, because just when you get used to a moment, everything changes.
Well, I totally feel that, because yesterday you whipped out this 9-month onesie, and I was like, surely that won't fit her yet. But it looked like it would.
Yeah.
But it's like, I keep getting comfortable putting her in the like average clothing for her age, like 3 to 6 months is what she's typically wearing right now.
Yeah.
But I can't get too comfortable because like she fit in that 9-month onesie, and I was just like, wait, what? Wait, what?
Public service announcement. Our 3-month daughter fits in 9-month clothing.
Well, some 9-month clothing. Some of it's still too big. But it's still crazy though that like I feel like I'm comfortable in the like little realm of what I think she's in, and then it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. Like today we went to Hobby Lobby to get her a bunch of sensory toys because I've realized like how much more stimulation she needs with like looking at stuff and reaching for it and grabbing it. And so it's all happening so fast. Like there's like a normal rate of progression that I feel like everyone is used to, and babies are on a whole new level. They're like, that progression rate that you're used to and in whatever way of life that you live, multiply that times 10.
That thing we did an hour ago is so old news.
Yes, that is seriously how fast it is. I'm like, okay, you're already in this now. Like, you already fit in this. Okay. Oh, you already need this toy. I didn't think you would need this teether until you were actually teething, but you're 3 months and you're already teething. So,
yeah. Well, babe, we're coming up on 30 minutes here.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty decent episode for right now.
Do you think that we thoroughly explained the story?
I think we did. Obviously, anybody else that wants to know more details and relive that tragedy with us, feel free to hit
You
us
kept
up.
talking about it with everybody that came to visit us, and I was like, please stop talking about it because you're making me relive this trauma.
I had to repeat it over and over and over until it was dull to me.
Yeah.
So that's like how I process it.
I know. You processed it that way, but I was like, let's stop talking about it.
You're like, let's pretend this never happened. And that's how I
not usually
it.
me. That's usually not me.
Yeah.
But I just was like, please stop. Like, the whole story makes me so freaking sad.
Yeah. I have to keep looking at her right here next to me while I tell it, just so that I know that.
I know. And like, I actually probably still deal with a little bit of anxiety as far as like just her health and safety. Like, I've really come to peace about it because like, oh my gosh, the first week we brought her home, I had to like legit surrender her life to the Lord because I was so anxious. I actually couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like when there was a chance to sleep, I couldn't.
We should talk about that in the next episode. In all honesty.
What? Like
your overexhaustion, and then also I'll kind of talk about how I've been able to process like health and safety for her and just for us, period.
Okay.
And we'll get into that in the next episode. You want to?
Let's do it.
Cool. So, guys, thank you guys so much for listening.
Join us for another thrilling episode on anxiety and trauma.
And then also, I promise not to make it 3 months later. We're going to try to make this weekly. Like, I promise we're going to try.
Well, we just weren't prioritizing it. We'll prioritize it now.
We are. We're back. We're back
and we're better.
So we're back to podcasting our life. Podcasting,
we do have some future guests in mind.
Yeah, we do.
Like we've met some pretty cool people.
Do guests. We're going to do podcasts just us. We're going to do podcasts with guests. We're going to do podcasts.
Can we give them
friends.
a teaser? I won't say the name.
Well, I got to make sure that they will for sure come on.
They want to.
Yeah, they want to. It's obviously just making it happen. So you know what?
Can I? No, I want to do it.
No, I
want to do it.
I'm not going to tell them who it is.
Oh.
Yeah, no. It's a surprise.
Aww.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, can I just tell them they'll really like her?
Yeah,
if she comes on, and she's actually like she's super fun,
super knowledgeable,
very knowledgeable. Like this will be a podcast that will blow your mind.
It's for anybody. It's very intriguing to
anybody
just learn about.
I think so.
I didn't know that there was this large of a field.
Yeah. Like you dive into it and you're like, there is a whole world that I didn't know about.
Yep. There's a whole science to this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. With that in mind, hopefully we get her on sooner than later. Other guests planned as well. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening and for keeping up with our lives and just for being fans.
We love you. Did you see what I was doing?
Yeah.
She was following.
She's following the little hand. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.